And it says the meeting is being live streamed. Are you all seeing that up on screen right now? Nod your heads if you are. Perfect. Thank you. Let's see. It says live on YouTube. It's still saying setting up your meeting. Now it's saying done, redirecting to YouTube. It says the meeting is being live streamed. Are you all seeing that up on screen? Now I have to pause myself. Perfect. Pause my volume. So there's a little bit of a delay. I don't know how long it is, but I'm guessing about 30 seconds or so. And I'm looking on YouTube, and the live stream actually does have your names up on screen. So I'm going to share inside the chat right now, the live stream link. This will also be the playback link for later. So make note of that. I'll put this inside the group as well, so you can get back to that later for the first time going through. But in future weeks, I'll put it in here once, and then you can go back out onto YouTube and look for it later. All right. Good morning and welcome. Happy Friday to everyone. This is Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. I am delighted to be all here with all of you. I always tell people I help you get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. And on our Friday VIP job seeker calls, what we do is we try to focus on using LinkedIn for job search. So we are all here today to support one another. This is a regular feature we do every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern time. This is the first time we're doing a live stream out on YouTube, and the playbacks will now be available for these calls as well. As we are getting started, I want to say good morning and welcome to all of you. And I'm just going to look through and see who is in our session. And I'm going to say hello and good morning to all of you right now. So I see Christopher, Gary, Sarah, AC, Becky, Brad, Christina, Claudette, Dean, Diane, Jeff, Joan, Joey, John, Jude, we got a lot of J's in here. LaShawn, Leora, Lynn, Maureen, Nancy. We have Nancy with an E and then Nancy H. We have Orlando, Scott, Shannon, Sonia, Sue, Suzanne, and Victor. And part of the reason I do this, guys, is when I look through the names, I look and identify people who are also assisting the job search community. And I see a couple of additional people who are on the call. I'm going to make you all co-hosts right now because I do need to leave in 10 minutes. I'm going to turn my golden baton over to Christopher when I leave, and Christopher will help to facilitate the rest of the phone call. But what I would like to do first is introduce each of the co-hosts who are going to be helping out behind the scenes. So I'm going to start with Gary. Actually, if each of the co-hosts, could you raise your hand? We're going to use the raise hand feature inside Zoom. So in the bottom, under your reactions, at the very bottom, you're going to click on raise hand. And that will help you, not just your physical hand, Gary, but use the raise. And Christopher did it too, but use the Zoom feature for raise hand. So in your menu bar at the bottom, you're going to click on reactions, and then you're going to click on raise hand. Okay. So I see Jude has raised her hand first, and then we'll go Jude, Gary, Christopher, and then who else was on here? Sue Griffey as well. So Sue, do you know how to use the raise hand feature inside Zoom? Can you click on that? Because I want to make sure we know how to do this. And I'm repeating this a few times to help all of you in the audience, because as we do success stories, as we do questions for today, we're going to use the raise hand feature. Okay. And I believe, Christopher, we can do this from inside the mobile app or inside the Zoom desktop app. Is that right? The raise hand feature?
I believe so.
Okay. We'll put you to the challenge on that one. All right. So Jude first, if you could please introduce yourself, and then we'll go Gary, and then we'll go Sue next.
Good morning. My name is Jude Gall. I am in the Windsor, Detroit metropolitan area, and I am a resume writer and job search coach. I help people with everything from cover letters and resumes to strategizing their job search, their networking, preparing for an interview, and negotiating their job offer. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Jude. And by the way, while we are hearing introductions from our speakers, I want to invite our VIP job seekers who are on the call to go into chat right now and drop in your introduction. What we're looking for is a brief, succinct introduction. Tell us your targeted job title, your targeted geographic area, and then please put in your LinkedIn URL. You never know when there's going to be somebody watching this in the Zoom session or on YouTube later who might know of a position for you. I'm also going to remind folks out on YouTube of that introduction. I'm going to put the instructions out there as well. All right. So who is next? I think it was Gary. You're up next, Gary.
I am Gary Heitman. Been retired 4 or 5 times. Do economic development. So people coming into Michigan are bringing their businesses in, and they're always looking for people. So one of my jobs used to be staffing, and I was vice president in recruiting and staffing firm. So I do resumes, I do little of everything, but I want to help put people to work. That's all I care about.
Well, we are delighted to have you, Gary. Thank you so much. Sue Griffey, you're up next. Sue, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm sitting in a hotel room, so I'm hoping, or a condo, the bandwidth holds out in the mountains of Durango. Normally, I'm in the DC area. I'm known as Sue Mentors. My career has been in global health, and now I've had in retirement, a mentoring practice. But thanks to Brenda and a lot of others during lockdown, I've been fortunate to learn about the US-based job market and hope to contribute here as well.
Delightful. Thank you so much, Sue. I hope you're having safe travels where you are, and we are glad to have you on, and we'll be asking for your help with Q&A here today. All right, Christopher, you are next, sir. Can you introduce yourself?
Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where and when you're watching. I'm Christopher Johnson, located in metropolitan Detroit. I'm a virtual event producer. I help event organizers and planners produce virtual events. Think meetings, webinars, conferences. And I do that by keeping things organized, calm, and clear so they can communicate their message.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Christopher. And any other instructions you want to give folks as we are getting started, since you're our resident Zoom expert?
Absolutely. If the transcript would enable you to have a better experience, you can enable that on your own machine by clicking on the CC, which should be in the toolbar on the bottom. As Brenda said, we're going to use the reactions, so make sure you're familiar with where they are, also down in the toolbar, and rename yourself so that we can call on you by name as opposed to you in the third square from that won't work. So rename yourself by clicking on your own video, and if you're on a Mac, click on your own video and select rename. On a PC, right-click on your video and select rename.
Wonderful. Thank you, Christopher. And I'm reminding folks to drop their introductions in. Make sure that you include the full LinkedIn address with the HTTPS as a part of it. And I want to demonstrate this inside the Zoom chat right now. I just put in my LinkedIn URL with the HTTPS. You're going to notice it's blue and it's clickable. And now I put it in there without it, and you can't click on it. So this is a powerful networking technique for anyone who is in career transition. We want to make it easy for people to get a hold of us, to connect with us on LinkedIn if we are in career transition, because if they can't, they may not know that they can copy and paste, or they don't want to leave the Zoom to do that. So let's make it as easy as possible. Now, an introduction for those that are joining us today. This is something I started during the pandemic back in 2020, in the early days of the pandemic. I saw a lot of people that were being put back into the job search market, not by choice. Their positions were made redundant. I don't even like that phrase. They were unemployed. They were laid off. They now find themselves in between successes or in career transition, however you want to say it. But I created this as a community that we can be a team with one another. And I remember in my corporate days, I loved being a part of a team. I loved, working with other people and supporting them and supporting the organization. And for many of us, one day we were part of the team doing all we needed to do, right? Working the late hours and coming in on weekends and doing what we needed to do. And then all of a sudden, one of those awkward days happened where your manager or HR person tapped you on the shoulder and said, come into the office with me and we're going to have a chat. Usually it's on a Friday, which I think is awful. Why do they do this on a Friday? Why not on a Monday, right? Or you may have gotten that odd Zoom invitation or a cell phone call from someone. And lo and behold, you're no longer part of a team. All of a sudden, you're not part of a team. I'm like, where did the team go? And I always find it interesting how some people, the people who reach out, it really meant a lot. And some people surprised me. I'm like, I can't believe he or she reached out. And other people, I kind of felt like turned their back on me. And I'm like, I was just supporting you. You were part of my team. And now you're like turning your back on me. But I want you all to know, if you look around the room here today, this is now your team. While you are in career transition, we are all here to support you. I don't want you to feel like you're alone going through this process. I want you to know that there are others that are in the same situation as you. We want to support you. If you're having a down day, let someone in the group know. Let's help to lift you up. As you're celebrating your successes, I want you to share those with us. And in fact, go ahead and put success in chat on Zoom right now, if you have a success story that you'd like to share, make sure that the word success is in all caps. A success could be, I got a job, I'm not going to be on the calls anymore. It could be, I got an interview, or maybe I'm negotiating, or I'm getting contacted by recruiters. My LinkedIn is starting to actually work for me. Whatever you deem to be a success, we want to hear about it. So put the word success in all caps in chat. And then if you could also use that raise hand feature, it'll make it a little bit easier for us. So if you're using that chat function as well as the reaction, that would be really great. Use that raise hand feature in there. We also want to see if anyone on the call today has any questions, whether it's using LinkedIn for a job search or if it's a question about just your job search in general. And we've had questions about resumes. We've had questions about interviewing. We've had questions about negotiation, salary. We've had questions about the whole process of finding a job. You know, it's taking me too long. What am I doing wrong? What could I be doing better? Any questions you have, feel free to raise the questions inside the chat. Type in the word question in all caps, followed by your full question. And then again, if you could use that raise hand feature, it will help us to be able to find you a little bit easier. The time is now 10:15, so I do need to turn the reins of the presentation over to Christopher Johnson, which will be leading you through the end of the call, and we'll be on here until 11 a.m. Christopher, when you're done, I think you should have the ability to end it, and then it will end the broadcast on YouTube. Does that sound right?
That does indeed sound right.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm going to turn control over to you, Christopher. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. I will see you back on next Friday. Wish me luck for my presentation, and I will see you online over the weekend or possibly next week here on LinkedIn. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sonia, I see your hand raised. Do you have a question?
Yes, I popped it into the chat. It's about using LinkedIn, and how do you feel about taking the skills assessments? Is there value to that? Would it attract more recruiters or make them stay longer if they somehow do land on my profile?
Gary, what thoughts do you have about the skills assessment test that LinkedIn offers?
Taken a few of them myself, and I've asked recruiters if they look at them, and they don't. I think something very technical, if you want to do that, and it's kind of like a certification, okay. But, you know, Excel and Word and any Microsoft Office, I wouldn't bother. A lot of those I wouldn't bother. Recruiters aren't looking at them, so I wouldn't waste my time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I wondered. Thank you.
But as part of that, there are 50 skills available in the skills section, and you have the ability to order them in the order that you want. So the top three, your top three skills, whatever you choose, can be highlighted at the top of the skills section. But wait, there's more. You can customize them and make them individual to you. If your skill is baking pies from scratch, I had to go with the pie themed one. You could list that as a skill. Who's to argue? One of Brenda's customized skills, getting people out of LinkedIn jail or assisting with LinkedIn jail. That wasn't a skill that was out there. She made that. So use the skills section. You have up to 50 skills to choose from. Make your own, make it your own, and use the ones that you want, that resonate to the audience that you want to reach.
Great suggestion.
Sue.
Yeah. I think there's a new opportunity. I don't know, again, that anybody's looking at it, but now LinkedIn allows you to attach those 50 skills to specific jobs. So there's another place where you can demonstrate the skill or say that that skill is demonstrated in what you've written, especially if you use evidence-based language, which is what I'll resonate over and over again. So I think, again, I think that's a great thing we should start thinking about.
That is, new features as they come out. Absolutely, we should incorporate them into what we're doing. Attaching an individual skill to an individual. Sue, a question with that. Can you have a skill attached to more than one experience section?
Okay, I'm sure you can. Gary's shaking his head, but it's this new. I think it's just a couple weeks, maybe a month. People have been talking about it, and I actually haven't done it, but
You
I'm just
can.
saying it's another area to reinforce it, and it's definitely worth exploring, especially on your most recent 2 jobs. That's where people are going to look and want to find out what you've done recently.
I've
Perfect.
done it, and you can have it for multiple roles.
Wonderful. I mean, that was my assumption, but you always want to verify, because just because you think that's logically how it should work. Well, we've all come across software where, but why is it like that? Scott, I see you have a hand up. What's your question?
Good morning. Yes, my question is, example is when you click on a link from the chat here to connect with somebody on LinkedIn or even a LinkedIn Live. If you're a third connection and it asks where you know the person from, would you consider this a conference or would you just say other?
I think that's there's no wrong answer. Other, conference, networking group, all of those are equally
I don't think
applicable.
networking is an option.
No, I mean, but
I don't see the purpose for even them to ask if it's other. I just wasn't sure if eventually they only allow a certain number of others compared to a true connection or.
All right. This meeting might be ending a little early because one of the features and functions of Zoom, you can only have one meeting going on at a time, because Brenda's paid gig requires her Zoom. Well, that always takes priority.
But if she left the call,
She did,
will it still work?
but you
It's
cannot.
her Zoom account.
Right. So this is all under
Ah.
her Zoom account. So you can only have one active meeting under your Zoom account at a time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
with that in mind, make sure that you have placed your contact information in the chat, save the chat, and be well until next week.
Hey, Christopher, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Can you create a Zoom real quick, and then we can give everyone that Zoom and you can pull everybody over there? Do you
This
want
is
to?
why you're brilliant.
All right. We got to do this quick though.
All right.
Um,
Let's see.
I thought by giving you host, it would allow me to start my own meeting, and it's not letting me do that. So I'm
No.
sorry, guys. This is the first time doing this, and I wouldn't do this to you if it wasn't a paid client engagement. So give us just a second.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody else has a Zoom we can use and you can do it faster than Christopher,
I'd say
Christopher,
go for it.
you say go for it.
And it is not. Okay.
Moving to LinkedIn Live, I can't because I need to host it. Sorry. It
Now,
needs to-
hang on, I'm going to give you my URL. Let me just
All
get
right.
between
Sue's
my
going to give us
laptop
her
screens.
Zoom. So hang on, guys.